Hello everyone and welcome to the daily JPL number 3, and I'm pretty proud of myself for sticking with it and completing the hat trick. I've made 3 consecutive daily JPLs, and I was kind of afraid that it was going to be one of those things where I started it out and then, being the procrastinator that I am, just all of a sudden forget about it. So I'm pretty proud of myself for, finally making, 3 in a row, and we'll see if we can make it to 4. So the first thing I would like to talk about is I did drop my Vita for the first time sometime last night. I had it charging on the shelf behind me, and I guess during tossing and turning I might have, caught the charging cord and pulled it down, and it fell behind my bed. But there's no scratches on it, no dings that I can see, so I'm pretty fortunate. It could have been much worse. It could have landed on something hard and probably, cracked the screen or other things like that. So that's kind of a reminder, kind of a wake-up call that I need to be a little more careful with this thing. So another thing I wanted to talk about is I've decided to record all my video blogs on the PS Vita just because it's more convenient for me. I can actually see myself as I'm recording. But the one thing I would like to apologize for is you notice that the text, whenever I'm wearing text on a shirt, is backwards. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if Sony will ever do something about it, if they'll ever release a firmware to fix it. Who knows. So if it's, backwards text is, driving you crazy, I do apologize for it. The next thing I would also like to talk about is what I'm currently playing on the Vita, and that is Hot Shots Golf World Invitational and Wipeout 2048. Those are the 2 main games that I'm playing. And I'm playing Hot Shots Golf to kind of take a break from Wipeout 2048 when it gets me really aggravated. But now the problem with Hot Shots Golf is that's getting me aggravated as well. I've just reached the upper 9 of the current course that I unlocked, and it's just maddening. It seems like no matter how well I try to plan a shot, it always goes awry. It either goes into, the quicksand, which is considered unplayable, or it goes out of bounds, or I hit a perfect shot, but it's lined up wrong, and then the next shot is like right in front of a tree or a building. And Hot Shots seems to always do that to me through the entire franchise. It always seems to line up the next shot right in front of an obstacle. It just drives me nuts. But I keep at it, being the gamer that I am, and I eventually beat the course. I think I lucked out, and I was like +1 or +2, and everybody else just sucked, so I was still able to win. Anyway, while I was playing Wipeout 2048 during my lunch at work, the Vita froze on me again, but it was kind of weird the way it did it. While I was playing one of the zone events, the music and, in fact, the entire audio just all of a sudden quit. The game was still moving, so I decided to finish the race, hoping that the game would save after I had finished it, but of course, it froze once the race was over. I couldn't get out of the game, I couldn't go back to the home screen, so I had no choice but to turn the system off and restart it. It does restart, it does come back online, or it does restart just fine, so I'm not really that concerned about it, but for it to freeze twice, once is too many times. So I hope Sony's aware of this, and I hope that they're planning a firmware update to fix whatever glitch is causing these freezings, and I don't know how widespread this problem is, but I did hear that some of the Japanese units had their own issues. And, this is just an unfortunate side effect of, our machines doing more. Because when it was the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, the old Nintendo, when those came out, they didn't have any moving parts. They didn't have, complicated circuitry, at least, to today's standards. They weren't going online. They were, they were very simple, and so that's why, nothing ever went wrong with them. The only thing that you had to do was, you had to clean the contacts, blow the dust out your cartridges every once in a while, but that was pretty much it. But now that we're having consoles that have, Blu-ray drives, and they got hard drives, they got moving parts, things are going to go wrong with them over time. And now that we're having machines, like the handheld machines, that constantly need firmware updates, time and time and time again, our gaming machines are doing things that aren't gaming as well. They're always connected to the internet, they're doing Netflix, things like that. It's a great, big, giant electronic petri dish for things to go wrong. And the Vita, unfortunately, still has a lot of bugs, kinks that need to be worked out. So, what are you going to do? That's the price you pay for being an early adopter. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the GameSpot video review for, well, the review in general for the new SSX. And it was reviewed by Carolyn Michelle, or Carolyn Petit, and she actually really enjoyed it. She gave it an 8.5. But there was one thing in there that I would like to talk about, and that is the fact that you can purchase credits, and you use the credits to buy gear, but you purchase credits with actual real currency. And I think that is just, a horrible idea. True, they don't force it on you, but this is the thing with the free-to-play business structure. Excuse me. Is, even though you don't have to pay for it, it suckers in the impatient gamers that don't want to continue to compete in the game and earn credits the normal way in order to buy their gear. And I'm pretty sure Carolyn did mention in the review that it does take quite a while to amass the amount of credits in order to buy the gear that you want. And I'm pretty sure that was done intentionally to sort of prompt the impatient gamers into buying the credits with their real money. And we've known that Electronic Arts has done this several times in the past, and I think the first instance that they've done this in, I believe, was a Godfather game, where you could unlock you could buy in-game currency with real currency. So, if you didn't have the 5 or 6 hours or whatever to get, all that in-game money, you could just flat out buy it outright. And that creates a disadvantage to the other gamers who don't want to pay. And I can say from personal experience, one of the games that I used to play on my cell phone were these like free little massively multiplayer online role-playing games where they were free to play, but you could buy skill points. You could actually buy your stats. You spend real money to increase your attack and your defense, your ability to attack so many times in a row. You could just buy that. And so the people who didn't want to pay, they were always being outclassed and outmatched by people who just, loved to burn money. And I think that we really need to stop that kind of business model, because it's just unfair, and in my opinion it's sort of extortionism. So the best way that we can speak against this is our largest voice, is our wallet. This is our largest voice. And the way to have your voice extremely loud is not this, but this, and that's keeping it closed. So you people out there that think, oh hey, no big deal, it will become a big deal. Because if you just are carefree and just decide to go ahead and buy in-game credits and all that other stuff with real money, you are sending a message to the publisher that it is okay to get fucked over. And it's not okay. It is not okay. Just look at Ridge Racer for the PS Vita. For people who said that they had no problem with Day 1 DLC, that game, there is nothing there. For $30 or whatever the price is, there's nothing there. You have to pay for everything else. And that's just one of those examples. So if you are complacent with this, if you say that it's no big deal, it will become a very big deal, because that is what the publishers think is okay. So you need to take a stand. Seriously. Don't just accept it. Take a stand. So anyway, now that I'm off my soapbox, the last thing that I've been doing is I just started this about a half an hour ago, and that is this awesome comedy that I'm watching, and it's called Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 1. And anyway, the reason why I'm watching it is because I like to watch the Twilight movies so that I have, a good basis to, be critical about it, to slam it and stuff, and that way I can say that it's a bad movie, and if somebody says, oh, well, you just think it's a bad movie because you hate Twilight, and it's like, well, I hate Twilight because I've seen the movies. So anyway, I'm not going to read the books because I just can't imagine myself reading, investing that much time reading something that I know I'm not going to like, so I'm just going to take the haters' word for it and say that they are shitty books. Anyway, I believe that is all. I'm sorry that this daily JPL has extended almost 10 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be that long. So I'm just going to wrap it up now and end it. So thanks for watching.